Live streaming is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to attend the after party. Now, here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. And below that is a link I'm going to post very shortly with today's date. Now, if you are not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/S as in sunset, M as in Mary, F as in foxtrot. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic, please enter your questions or state your comments in the chat box. Now, you must be a registered YouTube member to be able to participate in the chat box. So that's another hurdle you got to do. Now, I will do my best to make your comments a part of the show. I understand that sometimes I can't get a word in myself. So be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. Now, if you're like myself and find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the videos. And the comments also help the channel's analytics. So please help us grow this channel. You can also consider joining our YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges I can see in the YouTube chat and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the Super Chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, to make donations. But the Super Chat is only available during a live stream. So I do this every Monday and Friday at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So tune in or watch during that live stream, make your donation, and then maybe come back at a later date when it's more convenient for you to stay and watch the whole program. But I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. And please keep the conversation family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link now at Stunthangar. And I'm turning my attention to another monitor to do this. And that's already set up and post. So that's posted there. And in our live stream, it looks like we have Mike Lonke already. He goes, he says, I like you, baby. And he says a smiley emoji. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I like you too, baby. Anyways, Tom Ramel says, I hit the like button. Thank you very much, Tom Ramel. So right now we have 11 concurrent viewers. We have 8 likes. We're on a roll. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. And if you are watching this as a replay, please hit the like button. I see a dramatic drop in the amount of likes after the live stream portion has been completed. So please help us grow this channel. Don't forget the YouTube memberships. Don't forget the super chats, and also participate. Come on into a live stream. All you need is a camera and a microphone, and Chrome works best, it seems like, for most people. And come on in. Register at stunthangar.com, and Sparky he's busy. He's spinning lots of plates, but he will get to you. And if you leave a valid email address and your first and last name with a space between those two, that's all it takes. Even though it seems like some people don't understand that Sparky's serious about the space between the names and a valid email address. So just do those two things for us, please, and come in the show. And I love having new guests. It brings a this kind of brings a lift to the show. So I appreciate and encourage you to come on in. Please do that. Let me see what's going on here. Let me change. All right. So I have Greg Sinclair, first guest. Well, I clicked on you, Gary. Where'd you go? Here comes Tom Rammel. There we go. Now I see you guys. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Thanks, Charles. I'm good.
Thank you for coming in, Tom. I appreciate it. And I like your shirt. Still playing with airplanes. I love that. Oh, man, I need to get that shirt myself.
I think one of my kids got it for me.
Oh, that is cool. That is very cool. So what you been up to?
Still working on refinishing my boat.
Oh, yeah. What's
racing hydroplane boat?
Yes. Wow.
Sanded it all down and then primed it and painted it. It used to be red and with white stripes. Now it's yellow with black stripes.
Oh, that should look good.
Yeah, it's coming along. Had one kind of really bad thing that happened. I used frog tape to mask off to do the black stripes, and when I peeled the tape off, it took some of the new paint off with it.
Oh.
And I went back and looked at read the directions on the frog tape. It says, make sure you let the paint dry for 3 days before you use this, before you mask over it. And it was only 1 day, so I guess it's my fault.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience with masking, so I really can't. But I know from watching Sparky and Wendy Nowski, Wendy would delaminate the tape a little bit, but de-stick it. He'd call it. He'd put it on his shirt and lift it off to kind of take off some of the stickiness. Yeah. And I think Sparky likes to take off the tape ASAP. Not even a.
Yeah, I do too. I like to do it when the paint's still wet. Even.
Yeah, well, I'll hopefully be doing that later on this year. I got to get building on the my model, the Precious Balsa, and I do have a color scheme for that. It was going to require some masking, and so we'll see.
But it's all fixed now, so it wasn't too bad.
All right, live and learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. I used that 3M blue masking tape the second time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I've been using that. I've tried some of that the light green color one as well.
Yeah.
And I've seen Sparky. He's using an orange one. Have you noticed that on his videos?
Yellow?
No, orange.
Yeah, the yellow.
Isn't it orange that he's been using?
Yellow.
Yeah.
At least what I was watching, it was yellow that he used, which is a 3M product also. It's just really expensive.
Oh, I
but
know.
all the 3M is in Minnesota, so.
Okay.
I don't know if it's any cheaper here, though.
You made me think about when Bob Hunt was here. He had mentioned a tape supply that he uses, and I imagine it's less expensive than the 3M product. And he does a lot of production, so I would imagine it would have to be good for him to use it in his production environment.
Sure.
So maybe if you go back, maybe you can capture that, or just when he's on again, ask him what was that place. I might be looking at finding out where that place was myself.
Yeah, I remember him talking about it. I probably wrote it down somewhere, but
Yeah, I used to.
I'm not sure where.
Yeah, I have this notebook, and I kind of gotten away from it, but I was making all kinds of notes of stuff, you know. And
Yeah, you pick up a lot of tips on this show.
oh, a lot. See, I got a note here. Tom Brown will show his King Cobra model. This was November 13th. See. Yeah. So, have you ever done any made any monocoque hinges?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that, because I'm actually considering doing that for my repair on this plane I'm flying.
Yeah, there's several ways to do it. The last ones I did, you take a strip of monocoque, maybe 3/4 of an inch, and cut it long, and then you flip that over, and you can tape the ends down to your bench or a piece of glass, and then take another 3/4 inch wide strip, and then overlap the two strips the thickness of your elevator or whatever you're hinging, and then use the trim iron and stick the two together, just that overlapped amount.
Okay.
So then now you've got this long strip that's adhesive on one side and then adhesive on the opposite side. And so you cut that into, you know,
Oh,
1 inch sections, and then you do those over and under, and you alternate the direction that you go for each hinge.
okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I actually have a YouTube video showing how to do that, and it's on the airplane called the Aeromodelling.
Okay. Let me make a note of this. And Gary, I've tried to let you in, and it's not responding. So I'm going to reject you right now, Gary. So come back in. Maybe next time when I click allow, it'll let you in.
So that's one way of doing monocoque hinges. The other way is if you're doing a monocoque wing or tail surface, then you can just leave the monocoque long on one side, and then you take a piece of cardboard that's maybe 1/16 of an inch thick, and you roll the monocoque back so that the adhesive side is up, and then you monocoque from the bottom of the surface up that edge, because your control surface then is folded back on top of the, let's say, the elevator. The elevator's folded back on the stabilizer.
Okay.
And then you iron up the back, but that 1/16 inch cardboard leaves a little bit of a space so that the two monocoques can stick to each other, but that forms the hinge, and you do it the full length so there's no gap at all.
Okay.
So I've done those before. There's several ways to do monocoque hinges.
All right. I have a plane that I didn't build, but it has cloth hinges, and I noticed last Friday that I could see light between the control surfaces.
I remember you
And
talking
I was
about
like,
that.
oh, I'm so disappointed because this plane, I finally got it flying pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I've been entertained. I was going to stitch it. I heard someone tell me just stitch it. And I thought that was a good idea, but I'm kind of leaning more now toward just doing a couple of strips on the parts that are missing. Because I'll wait for the other ones. They might not even deteriorate. The other ones just might last. So
yeah, that first way of using the monocoque would probably work. What is is it a monocoque surface or is
no,
it?
it's painted. It's
Painted. Okay.
I believe it's polyspan, and then it's Rust-Oleum paint.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is. Wow, hang on a second, Tom. I got to catch up on the chat box. Alex Third, he says, "Hi, Charles. I'm having a little trouble posting my other name, Alexander. Not sure why. No problem, Alexander. I know that when I see Alex third, I know it's Alexander. And then Dennis Adamiston says, I already like what I'm seeing. Thank you very much, Dennis. And Mike Rigel says, Hi, Charles. I'll try to become a member next month. I'll be broke the rest of this month. I just purchased a bunch of balsa and some tools. Well, if you purchase some balsa and some tools, I understand that you're going to be broke. I totally understand that. Then he goes on to say, "Hey Dennis, are you any kin to Big Art Adamison?" And I can answer that for sure. Yeah, he is Art Adamison's son, and I met Art at Brodax in 2016, and he goes on to say, talking about taping. My dad used to have friends that ran a sign shop, and they would wait until the paint was completely dry before they removed the tape. Yeah, I imagine there's all kinds of ways to do it. And then John, this name always stumps me a little bit. So does Mike Rigel. John Sukalak, I think. Where do you use that boat, Tom?
Well, I live on a lake, and so I just go out my back door and use it in the lake.
Yeah,
I have 140 feet of lake shore, so
he has it made. And then Jack Snavely says, Hello, Charles, and all else in hangar or shop and all around the world. Thank you, Jack Snavely and Mike Rigel and Alexander and Dennis, Mike Lonke, and yours truly. Thank you very much. And we're back. So it's just you and me. And Gary, if you're out there listening, try again. Gary, I did not reject you because I didn't want you in here. I just couldn't get the allow button to work. And I was clicking the allow button.
that's really strange. You've had a lot of issues with Gary.
I know, it is so bizarre. I've only had it happen to another person or maybe a couple other people, but yeah, but with when Gary comes in and it works, I'm amazed. I'm not amazed when I click for anybody else, but when I get allowed to Gary, wow. And I don't know what's going on, but oh well. Yeah, so this go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
When I was in third grade, my dad took me to this hobby shop, and they had a bunch of airplanes hanging from the ceiling, and I was really interested in that, and that's how I kind of got started into control line. And right while we were there, he bought me my first kit, balsa kit airplane, and I don't even remember what the kit was. I remember building it, but I don't remember the name of it or the model or anything.
Now,
I remember I painted it yellow.
Was the wing built up, or was it a plank wing? You remember that?
It was a curved shaped balsa wing.
Okay, so it was a plank that was
It was just a small half A plane, yeah. And I didn't have any engines, and I couldn't afford an engine at the time. But when my birthday came around, my dad bought me a Golden Bee engine, so that was my first engine.
Wow,
Golden Bee.
Yeah, that's a nice number.
I had a hard time getting it started on my own. I'd spent a lot of time trying to get it to run. I didn't know anything about it, and finally I found some kids that were just a year or two older than me that were flying, and so I went there, and they helped me get it going, and they flew it for the first time, and then they let me fly it, and I crashed it. So that was how I got started in control line.
Oh, that is very cool. Yeah, it's
then my first real build-up balsa kit was a Little Satan. I mean, after after that first airplane.
So you built a combat plane.
And I flew that a ton until we were trying to find some shade and it took off and I ended up hitting the tree. I didn't get back up quick enough.
I know, and those lessons are painful, aren't they? Oh man, they're
But I had
brutal.
lots of flights on that plane before I crashed it.
Well, that's good. That is, I don't know if the younger generation has the determination that we had because, just like you, I mean, it was just like persistent, never give up, didn't even consider giving up. You just, you envision flying it and it could be a terrible flying plane and you would be able to fly it. You wouldn't even know it's terrible until after you built better airplanes.
And the Little Satan was the first one where I did dope and tissue.
Wow.
So that's how I learned the dope and tissue method, just from the instructions.
Yeah, same here because, oh, by the way, hi, Dennis. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, guys.
I was a little kid, probably about, I think it must have been about 6th grade or 7th grade, riding my bicycle to our local recreation center. And there was this man flying an airplane. I was like, I was so excited to see a plane flying with a gas engine, I thought. So I just went there and got close enough to watch. And when he landed, he said hi and this and that. His name was Shelby Hagberg. That's how much of an impression he made on me. And hey, Eddie, thanks for coming in. And so he actually talked to me about it. And he lived really close to the flying field. Went to his house. He was in the Navy. And he had a young wife and he had babies, 2 babies. So, it was kind of neat having a young man to talk to, a young kid like myself. And I was in his garage and I could see the planes hanging and I thought it was wonderful. So I went and bought a Cox PT-19. And then my first built was either the Goldberg Little Wizard or was the Goldberg Jumping Bean. I'm not sure which one, but I built both of them. But I don't remember which one was first. And then I went on to build other planes. I think I built a Buster. Then I built a Magician. I actually built 2 Magicians. And the Magician, I thought that was such a great plane. I built another Magician. Hey, John, thanks for coming in. It's been a while. John, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. How do you say your name?
Where's he at?
And I will forget your name again, but how do you say your name?
That's one reason I popped in. I appreciate your efforts. Okay. I really do. You try so hard every time, and you actually got it right this last time. And here's the thing about my name. It's really scary because it has 3 Ks in it. So you look at it and you sort of panic and you say, well, that's not even pronounceable.
Yeah.
But it's phonetic. If you look at it, it's Skook Alek.
Okay. Shuk Alek.
No, there's a K. SK. Skook Alek.
Oh, Skook Alek.
Yep.
I probably blew it. You're just being nice to me, right?
No, you nailed it. You nailed it.
I have to remember that, but my apprehension when I see your name, it overwhelms my my senses, and so I just kind of blow it sometimes. But
yeah,
the other guy, Mike Miguel, I know that his name is difficult. His name is spelled Micregil. It's an unusual name, nothing I've never seen before, but I'm sure it's a good name. And then let me catch up on the chat box. So, okay, so Gordon says evening all. And then Greg Nielsen says, evening, Charles, evening, Gordon, and evening, Greg. And Mike Regel says, I remember Big Art from the model magazines. Yeah. And Jeff Riley says, hello, Stunt Hangar. And then Jeff Snagley says, hi, y'all. Wait. Hi, Jeff. And all else on the tube. And Jeff Riley says, how's it going, Jack? 'Cause I guess these two are going back and forth. But so Dennis, there was a gentleman here, and I already answered. He wanted to know, was you related to Art Adamson?
Yeah, I knew him pretty good. So number 3 son. So thank you, McCreggle. McCreggle, I think it is. Thank you very much for the shout out.
Dennis, I've got a couple things to say to you. One, thank you. A couple years ago, you wouldn't necessarily remember this, but I was looking for help in getting started on a little half-A electric plane for my grandson.
I remember, and I couldn't pronounce your name either. So
Yeah,
thank
well,
God you're writing emails.
You're in a very distinguished group, Dennis. So,
well, that's it. Well, I have adventures with my last name too. Probably not
sure,
like yours. But,
sure. But here's the question I wanted to ask you. On your recommendation, I bought the package deal that Brodak has for little half-A airplane. So the motor and the battery and all that kind of thing, which I bought, and the propeller that was part of the package. And I was putting it on some half-A's I built years ago, standard half-A's that are just a piece of wood wing and a fuselage and all that. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but it just doesn't have enough power to keep the thing out on the lines at 35 feet or 40 feet. Even struggles at 30 feet. And gosh, if he gets it up too high, then it comes in at him. So I don't know if I have the wrong propeller or if I'm doing something wrong.
Well, there's a couple of things. It needs a high pitch prop, like a 6.5.5. If you have that.
That's the one that's part of the package.
Okay.
And that's the one I'm using.
What you can do is, frankly, a lot of folks have liked using a 3-cell pack instead of the 2-cell pack. There's a 3-cell 650, I think, or 600 milliamps, something like that. Basically, it fits in the same package. You put that on and it increases the RPM by about 50%.
Oh my, okay, yeah.
And do that, and well, I fly my baby Ringmaster through the old-time stunt pattern on 42 feet of line. So
okay. So I need a bigger battery, I think you're saying.
Yeah, try that. The basic system will work pretty good, kind of in a trainer kind of mode and everything like that, as you discovered. But there is more performance available.
Yeah, it allowed him to solo, which was wonderful. But there's no way he's going to be able to do a wing over or a loop or anything like that. So I guess I'll get the bigger.
Yeah, go to the. Brodak's got them, but I don't know. Do you have any local hobby dealers in your area or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. We have a Riders.
Terrific. I haven't been to a Riders in a long time, but they were always a pretty good operation. Look for a 3-cell pack around 600 milliamps. Any more than that, and it starts getting a little heavy, which is not your friend. But 3 cells instead of 2-cell. Basically means you've got 50% more voltage to work with, and that means 50% more RPM. So,
all right. Last question I have for you is, I don't know anything about electric. This is all new to me. I hear you guys talk about, and I read about the importance of treating, how you treat the battery after you've used it, how you power it down, or whatever it is you call that. But are you supposed to do that with this little battery I have? Because it's not discussed in any of the instructions, and I don't even know what I would do it with.
Basically, if you fly the airplane, you've run down the battery. That's good enough. Now, if you charge the battery and you don't use it, it's probably I don't recall which charger you have, but the charger, the small chargers don't have a discharge circuit on it. Some of the bigger ones did. If you got one of the deluxe chargers. So I think probably the best thing you could do is just light it up and let it run on the ground.
Okay, fair enough.
Just do that. Let it, just run out the tank, or most of the tank, whatever. Just let it run out on the ground, and that'll be good. It's not a good idea to store the batteries fully charged.
I've ruined a couple of them already, but I keep reordering that same battery. So what I need to do is I need to get a 3-cell.
Yeah, get the 3-cell. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit shorter, and weight-wise, it's in the same neighborhood. I think it's actually just a tick heavier, but it does add a lot of performance.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question for you guys before there's a whole bunch gets on here and gets to where we can't talk. But I got 3 brand new fuel tanks today, and Friday and today. And I'm not familiar with the Uniflow tanks. First one is this one. Okay, I know that's the pickup. Which one is the Uniflow and which one is the overflow?
You're upside down, so turn it over. Okay, now
it goes in the plane like this, but it's upside down, so it goes like that.
Yeah, when you're flying, that's the flying position with the tube in front to the outboard side of the circle, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now I believe the tubes on the hoops, if you will, coming out the side. The top one will be the Uniflow. The bottom one will be the overflow. So fill it through the Uniflow vent and then let it overflow.
Okay. Next one is this one.
It's not coming through very clear. Oh, okay. All tubes forward. I believe that one, the tube. Okay, of course, there's the regular fuel line tube is up in the corner or out in the corner, and then the other ones, the one that's all the way to the side, farthest to the side, is the overflow, and the one that's kind of in the middle, that's the Uniflow.
Yeah, okay, middle is the Uniflow. All right, now the pro.
Yeah, you're not. Back it up from the camera a little bit. Okay, that one, I believe, will be. Oh boy, I'm a little less certain about that. I believe the one on the one on the top. The one closest to the flat side would be the Uniflow, I think, and the one next to it is the tube to the engine, and the one on the bottom, I believe, is the overflow.
Yeah, that's why I figured the one on the bottom was the overflow, but I just didn't know which one of these was the pickup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be the fuel pickup on that one. Those are all Brodak tanks?
Yeah, they're all Brodak.
They used to have
I got.
Yeah, you could double check, give them a shout, give them a call, and I think the ladies there are used to answering questions like that. They used to have a little graphic on the website actually.
Okay.
Let's see. I gotta see if I can find it. But on the website, I just saw it actually earlier tonight. For no good reason, I was looking at fuel tanks. No, I'm not thinking of changing a new leaf.
Yes. So Eddie, was you planning on running it Uniflow with muffler pressure? What was you thinking about doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all 3 going to be LA46s with mufflers.
Okay, so the Uniflow.
That's the way.
So the Uniflow pipe, I hook up to the muffler.
The Tudor too. Do what?
I hook up the Uniflow pipe to the muffler, and I tap the other one off.
Yeah, well, like I say, the Tudor 2 I run with a clunk tank, so I run pressure to it, but it's a clunk tank and not a metal Uniflow, so I didn't know how to which one I hooked my muffler pressure to. So
yeah, so the Uniflow is what I hook it up to, and I just cap off the other one.
Yeah,
that's how I do it. And I
Eddie. Yes.
Eddie, every one of those tanks you bought has a diagram on Brodak that will tell you which tube is what.
Yeah, I'm looking at the graphic right now, Eddie.
Okay.
Dennis just told you everything correctly, but every tank you have, you can pull up the part number and click on the image, and it will tell you what tube does what.
Okay. I just didn't see them, I guess. So, all right. Thanks.
They also have a generic picture on the front of the Brodak tank listings that shows what looks like 12 different tanks and the different tube arrangements, and which is overflow, which is uniflow, and things like that. Okay.
Okay.
Eddie,
All
can
else
I ask you a
fails, we'll see you
question?
Friday.
The Magnum Uniflow that you showed, the one with the 2 U pipes coming forward, is that a 5-ounce tank?
Yes.
Okay, and you're saying you texted me the other day. You're saying that will not fit in the airplane?
No. I was just wanting to know which ones you used.
Okay, that is the tank that you should put in the Vector 40.
Yeah, it fits right in there. Yeah.
It should fit right in there just fine. And 5 ounces, everyone's going to tell you 5 ounces is way too much, but it's LA 46s will run anywhere from under 4 ounces up to 4.5, maybe even 3/4. It depends for the full stunt pattern.
Well, see, I
always like to add a little extra. Let me finish talking.
Yeah.
I like to have a little extra because where you're running it, you might need 4 3/4.
Right.
And you want to just pull some out rather than not having enough tank to get what you need. So that is a tank I ran in that plane. That's the tank you need. That's the one.
Cool. Thank you. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
I can make a suggestion too, Eddie, on that tank for the Vector, because those pipes are curved. You want to support them a little bit. Because the vibration, they could just lead to a failure. On my tanks, I have silicone tubes going to something that's hard mounted to the fuselage. So if you need to support those tubes, I recommend it anyways. You don't have to, but that's what I would do. Sure,
Eddie, for what you're doing in that airplane, that old Vector, with those tubes coming out like that, just get you some RTV, some silicone from the auto parts store, and glom it in the hole where the tubes come out of the fuselage. Okay, it's a very light Vector, and it's very old, and the covering ain't great. It ain't no showpiece. You just glom in some silicone RTV to support those tubes so they're not vibrating out there. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about how it looks. Just support it. Support it, like Charles said. Support the brass tubing so that those brass tubes are not just coming out of the tank and freestanding on their own. Glob it up with some silicone. You'll be fine.
Cool.
Thanks, Mike. Let me catch up on the chat box. Dan Winship, he says, Big Art was the best stunt coach or coaches. He says, he could tell you what you were doing wrong and proceeded to tell you how to correct your mistakes. I was a participant many times. And that is, I've heard nothing but great things about Art's tutoring, his coaching. And then Jeff Riley and Jack Snavely, they're having a conversation amongst themselves. And we're all caught up. But yeah, I like when coaches can not only tell you what you're doing wrong, but provide you a fix. I had a friend, Mike Mulligan. He left California, unfortunately, moved to Texas, and I miss him very much. I keep hoping that he will watch YouTube and come in here, because he was really good at telling me what I was doing wrong, but he actually would come up with a solution that was really easy for me to do. I remember, for example, I was doing the overhead 8, and when I would do the other one, it was I think it was, anyways, it wasn't at 45 degrees. So he encouraged me to get my arm across my chest, and that would get me at 45 degrees. And I had a problem with my intersections on my horizontal 8s. And he said, you're missing the intersections. And then he watched me, and he said that, I was turning my torso, and he encouraged me to not turn my torso, but turn my head when I was doing the 8s so I wouldn't miss my intersection. And another problem I had was when I was doing the reverse wing over, across the top, how you wiggle. People will wiggle sometimes on that maneuver. Well, I had that bad. He got tired of seeing me do it. And now this might not be right, but it worked for me. Instead of having my handle straight up, he encouraged me to, when I did that maneuver, soon to turn my hand and slide. And the reason being is that the plane couldn't get ahead of me. I mean, if it got ahead of me or was behind, I wouldn't be adding an input. But having my hand like this, if by chance the plane got ahead of me, I was giving an input, or if it was behind, I was getting input. I don't know if you can follow my illustration, but and that was a great fix. So I missed you, Mike Mulligan. Hope all's going well with you, and come on in. I don't see you on the Stunt Hangar that often, so I hope everything's well with you. But I missed your coaching extremely. I used to pretty much get a podium whenever he coached me.
And Dan Winship, thank you very much for your comment. Yeah, Dad was a heck of a coach, and he was the guy that he could watch. He used to drive some people crazy. They say things like, "Well, what'd you think of my flight?" He goes, "I don't know. I wasn't watching your airplane. I was watching you." All right, and he could see the things like Charles is talking about. You can do things badly with your body position, the way you align for maneuvers, or set or not set for the maneuvers and stuff like that. And I used to drive them crazy because, you know, if you don't have your body set right and everything like that, you really don't have a chance. You know, until you get there, you know, first comes the socks, then the shoes, right? I mean, every block builds on top of each other, and he would start with the pilot and what they were doing, and then, you know, extend from that. So, but yeah, I guess I'm walking, talking proof that maybe you know, you think I flew with him all the time. I should be the best flyer in the universe, shouldn't I? So
yeah, pretty much.
I kind of fall short of that. So.
Dennis, I got an awful lot of coaching from Art too here in Michigan at the state meets a couple times when I was
really? Okay.
first starting out, and it was so fantastic because he was so passionate about it. He cared so much. He wanted you so badly.
That is absolutely the perfect word.
He wanted you so badly to learn and improve and enjoy what you were doing more. And he didn't hesitate to tell you anything.
Yeah.
So passionate.
Well, one good, you know, and like all coaches, if we worked with somebody and saw that person improved a little bit, he was tickled that, you know, absolutely tickled pink.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
You know, and any coach, you see him in, you know, in any sporting endeavor and everything like that, the coaches go crazy when the players do well. So. And,
he was great.
Charles, you talking about your first airplanes. Mine was a Goldberg Swordsman.
Oh, you know, I saw that one. I wanted to buy one. I remember as a kid.
Yeah,
you want to buy everything, but that was one of them I wanted to buy, in addition to the Little Wizard and the Jumping Beam.
Well, the Wizard, my brother had the Wizard. And I had the Swordsman. I flew that thing till I ended up having to put splints on the side of it because it busted so many times. I couldn't get it to stay together, so I had to splint it with the epoxy, and I think there was more glue on it than there was wood, but I flew that thing. I still got it over in my dad's basement, man. That thing was a flying little dude, man. It was good.
Yeah, there were some good models, and there still are.
I took off on a sheet of paneling. I drag it out in the field beside the house. Made me a little stooge with out of a coat hanger and kite string.
Wow. See, I didn't even know about stooges. I didn't even have a idea that I could get something to hold a plane from it. So I always had to wait on my friends.
Mine, I just had I made it was like a Y with two rings on it, just folded up, stuck it down in the ground, and tied a string to the tail skid with a loop in it, stuck a pin through the loop in the string, got out there and yanked the string, and off she went.
That sounds like a winner.
Yeah, I was probably 12, 13.
That is pretty good.
I'm building a little wizard right now with my 6-year-old grandson.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Outstanding.
See, now
That's quality time.
That's what I would like to be doing one day.
Doesn't get any more fun than that.
That's
Oh
it.
man, yeah, that sounds so good.
He's excited about picking out the colors and putting on the decals.
Wow, I sure hope I get that pleasure. Hope I get that experience, John.
I hope you do too, because everyone talks about it and it goes in one ear and out the other. It did for me for years, but once you experience it, you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John, that's going to be electric powered?
My plan is to do that, yeah. And so I'm trying to think of ways to make the thing light.
Well, I was going to say one thing with the 6-year-old and everything like that. If it's going to be electric anyway, when you get it all in plain balsa, give him colored markers, like magic markers and stuff like that. And he may enjoy, just decorating it that way and stuff like that. And then you may or may not even bother to put a coat of clear dope on it. I put a coat of clear something on it because it makes the wood stronger. But I don't know. I think.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to do that, awesome. Dennis. He's going to want to do that himself, and he's definitely
absolutely.
He loves the decals, and they're going to have to go on. So.
Yeah, the decals will go on better. Well, they won't go on very well on bare wood. They need, they need to have some. I mean, you could put like a water-based polyurethane or something like that.
Maybe just acrylic.
You can handle. So.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Carl, you're muted.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, Gary, I don't know what's going on with when you try to come in, but I was clicking the allow, and just nothing would happen. So I rejected you. And so when you get rejected, hopefully you know that I've been trying to get you in and to save time. So I don't know what the deal is.
I didn't see any rejection. I just was waiting on it to connect, and then didn't connect. So
good.
I had to restart, and then.
Yeah, that's very peculiar. I don't understand. Matter of fact, when I see you coming in, I'm like, oh, I hope this thing works.
Well, I got in first, but there wasn't any sound, and there was a picture.
I saw that. Yeah.
Did you see me waving or anything?
I think I did.
Did you?
But you know what? All I saw was your initials, and then Tom came in right after you first came in, and so Tom and I was talking, and then you disappeared. Hey, Peter, thanks for coming in, Peter.
Hey guys, I can't stay on late tonight, so I just wanted to get on there and ask about these tanks. But I'll see y'all on the next one.
All right. So you know how to pressure test your tanks and all that kind of stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
That's something we didn't talk about. But for those in the audience, you want to pressure test them. I usually seal them up with hoses and then with syringe and submerge it in water, and then I depress the syringe and see if I can see any bubbles. And at least if I have a leak, then I know where I need to solder it and fix it. So.
Yep.
All right, Eddie. Have a nice evening, man. See ya.
Yeah.
Let me see. I got a little chatter in the chat box. Mike Rigel says, I started with a Sterling half A Indecker. I don't know how you say that. It's a German plane, I think. And it flew well. I was able to learn. And then Jeff Riley, he said, my first plane was a little jumping bean. All right, jumping beans. And then at six years old. Wow, Jeff, that's awesome. I felt like I had a tiger by the tail. I bet. At 6. I was much older than you when I first flew my little jumping bean. That was a good flying plane.
I thought mine was a puddle jumper. You ever heard one of them?
I don't remember the puddle jumper. Was it Carl Goldberg?
I don't remember. It had a built-up wing, I know.
Built-up wing. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't have built-up wings.
It was a Berkeley kit.
Oh, Berkeley. Okay.
was like a tiny, looked like, well, everything Berkeley made looked like a zilch, I guess, but it was like I think about an 85 square inch, zilch or something like that. It was pretty small. I know. Actually, I think they had a couple sizes too. Didn't they have one that was more like for a 15 or something like that? I don't know.
This is a half A.
Peter wants to say something. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, my dad, my first plane was a smoothie that we recovered out of a trash can at the flying field at Flushing Meadow Park.
Wow.
And after rebuilding that, whoever threw it out, rebuilding that smoothie a whole bunch of times and crashing it to oblivion more than once. My real first airplane after that one was, because we figured out I'm not learning how to fly on this thing, was a who made the little Satan? Little Carl? Was that a Carlberg kit?
Carl Goldberg.
Yep, it was a little Satan. We turned around, we covered it in red monocoat, put a Black Widow 049 on it, and then my dad and I went out to a field that had grass or weeds about knee high, maybe a little bit higher than knee high, and fuel up the little Satan, and my dad would just toss it. And that's how I learned to fly, because I flew it around and crashed it into the weeds a dozen times or more. Never broke a thing in monocoat, obviously, at that time. It was like
wow, very nice.
Bulletproof. So when I crashed into these knee-high weeds, nothing ever happened to it.
Yeah.
And basically, that's how I learned to fly, straight and level, roundy round. And I can only recommend that to a lot of people that have problems or troubles, getting into flying. Go out and get yourself a little Satan. They go together real easy. Cover it in monocoat, stick a Golden Bee or a Black Widow on the front of it, a half A, and go out and find some nice tall grass. And then have, the only disadvantage to it, you have to bring somebody with you that can pretty much toss the airplane to get it launched. But that teaches you two things. Ultimately, you learn how to fly very well, round and round, but you also learn how to deal with a hand launch, which is a skill all on its own. So once you learn somebody how to hand launch and then not crash in big weeds, going to a flying field with any airplane after that, rising off to the ground, it's a piece of cake.
And that Carl Goldberg Little Satan kit was less than $3 when I was a kid.
Yep. And it was, like I said, in those conditions, it was indestructible. Didn't have to worry about trying to take off the ground. Like I said, once you got the hang of somebody hand launching, because my dad would either throw it towards the inside of the circle in any way direction. And once you learned how to recover that and then get it to fly round and round, hey, you were ready for after that, you were ready for a 35 size model airplane rise off ground. That was where I learned how to fly inverted. And the little Satan didn't teach me that, but at least I learned how to fly round without crashing into the ground.
Well, let me catch up on the chat box. Looks like Philip Bailey says mine was a combat kitten. Second was a little Satan. And then my favorite, the little jumping bean. All right, jumping bean. We got 3 jumping beans going on. And Dennis and John and Carl, what was your first planes? Go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead first.
Well, I was going to say I also had a little Satan. I also had a jumping bean. So the first airplane that I really thought was serious is I had a PDQ Circus Prince. All right, and Circus Prince, but actually Brodak makes it now too. Just a little 15 size airplane. And then
it's
my
called
second
Circus
one was
what?
a Master. So.
It's called a Circus what, Dennis?
Circus Prince.
Circus Prince. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Never seen that one.
Yeah. It's pretty forgettable, actually. It's actually a very strange looking airplane. Have you ever seen a flying clown?
Yes, I have one, as a matter of fact.
Okay, imagine a flying clown with a different. It's got the same wing and stab. The fuselage was a really strange shape with a real wicked hooked fin on it and everything like that. It's kind of goofy looking, but it flew about. Well, they had to fly the same. It was the same airplane, so.
Was the little jumping bean the one that had the decal that said number 23 or something on the wing?
No, that was Stuntman 23.
Oh, that was the Stuntman 23. I had one of those as well.
Yeah.
So, John, what was your first plane, John?
I'll tell you a really quick story that I think is pretty funny. Back in 1990, I took my father, who lives in Florida. He flew up to Michigan, where I live, and I took him to the Nats. At that time, they were down near the southern tip of Indiana. I forget the name of the town, but
wow, first trip to Nats. Wow.
Yeah, and so, man, that was just for me. My dad flew airplanes when he was young. He didn't have time to do it when he was raising his 6 kids, and I was the oldest of the 6. We went to the Nats, had a great time, and when I saw precision aerobatics, I lit up. I'd never seen control line airplanes flown upside down, and I'd never seen the beauty of that event. So we drive home, long drive. My dad's flying home in a couple days, and we go to Riders. And we had one day to do this. I said, we're going to buy an airplane, we're going to build it, we're going to fly it before you go home, Dad. So we went to Riders, and we bought a little wooden Mustang half A, and I bought a Black Widow, I think, and we threw it together, spray painted it. And here's the funny part of the story. We go to this school parking lot, and we're getting ready to go. And of course, my dad's the only one with experience, and he's going to fly this airplane. And I'm getting ready to put the fuel in the tank. And I said, Dad, are you sure you want me to fill this tank all the way up? And he said, yeah, no problem.
Go for it.
So I did. He hadn't flown control line in a lot of years. So this thing ran the entire tank out, and you can imagine how dizzy he got on the 25-foot Dacron lines or whatever it was that we got in our package. And to his credit, he got through the tank. He landed the airplane, but as soon as he did, he was walking in circles, tilted. And he went to the ground and broke his fall with his face on the parking lot. So he went home with his whole face bloodied, but it was all worth it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure your dad was determined to not crash your plane. So he wasn't going to let that happen, but he wasn't able to protect his body. Right. Now, Carl, what was your first plane, Carl?
Well, I like you all. I started out with a PT-19 Cox trainer, flew a couple of those. And then I got a Stuka one year for Christmas or birthday something, and crashed that and broke the wing off and glued it back together, and it lasted a few times. And then eventually I went to the Ringmaster, the original Sterling Ringmaster.
Right.
And then after I built a few of those, I graduated to the original Flight Streak, and that was about all. So those 2 kits are the ones that I have the most time with.
Very cool.
Interesting thing is, just about everybody's had one of those plastic Cox P19s or whatever. Yeah. I never had any luck with it. Number one, half the time I couldn't get it started.
Oh, really?
And I remember it just, 1 or 2 attempts was like, it was, in pieces.
Yeah.
And it's like something is even back at a young age, I kind of figured out there's something aerodynamically wrong with this.
Well, I never had any problems with the motors. I always, because it was the old style, the one where they had the self-contained gas tank.
Oh, okay.
Not the new one that has the plastic tank in them. The Thermodrome, I think, is what they call them.
Yep.
And with a spring starter on it, and had a lot of fun with those.
I had a PT-19 when I was a kid, and it flew. I mean, it flew level, straight and level, pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think I maybe did a couple loops that weren't figure nine.
Yeah. Well, I could do the outside loop, but I could do the inside loop with it. I could do the inside loop with it, but I never had the courage to try the outside loop because I didn't want to crash it and break it, you know. And on that PT-19, you could set the motor. You know, you could set the motor in the where you rubber band it together and have up dense or the motor's pointing up in the air to make it loop, or you can have it straight out to make it fly flat, or you can put it down. It had different settings you can do it, but I just kept it in the center just to make it easier to fly.
You know, Carl, I forgot about that. You can adjust the motor on the PT-19. Thank you for that. I forgot all about that.
Here's a funny story. We used to fly down at the football field at the local high school there back in the early 70s. So me and my brother and a friend of ours all had it out there, and my brother was goofing around. I started my motor up. The rubber bands broke, and right when it broke, my brother did a somersault, hit right square in the butt.
Wow.
It didn't hurt him though. We just laughed. I thought it was the funniest thing. But,
well, at least it was one of those, not some 35-pound airplane chasing around the circle.
Yeah. But
I flew mine one time. That's
terrifying.
And hit the ground, and the rubber bands came off, and I lost them, and I didn't have any spares, and so after that we just fired up the engine with just the gear and just let it go straight up in the air.
We did. Yeah, we've done that a few times. Yeah.
Huh.
And I don't know how many guys out there have had the terror. Oh, there's an airplane.
Wow.
Charles, that's a circus prince.
That is pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see what I mean about the weird fuselage and weird
I
fin
do.
and all
But that is cool looking, though.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Wow.
Wow, that's a nice airplane.
Yeah. I bet that thing flew pretty good.
Yeah, it was. You know, there's not a lot to it. As long as your expectations weren't too high, it was okay.
It's almost like a ringmaster takeoff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, remember I mentioned the flying clown, the little one, all right? The basic flying clown. It's the same wing and tail. They just put a totally different fuselage on it. I guess you get a little more product out of the product line that way. So, oh, well.
Very cool.
Anyhow, I built one when I started flying. When I saw Brodak had a kit, I was instantly attracted to it. I had to build another one. So.
I mean, I'm wondering how many guys out there remember the first time where you're either at the top of a loop or at the top of a wing over, and it gets all slack and sloppy, and it starts coming straight down at you, and you're trying to think, okay, which direction I should run.
That's it.
Hey, John.
Yeah, I can't remember how many times I've done that with that PT-19. Didn't keep the lines tightened up, and it came on and started running backwards. But we were on the field where we had room to do that.
Well, PT-19 is kind of a little different story rather than when you have like a 35 or a 40 up there, and it's like, oh hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, which way do I run?
Exactly.
Hey, Dennis, I have a message from Phil. He says, Dennis, at the contest, I got a set of plans to the Eclipse.
Well, I asked him, Phil, you got the thing framed up yet?
We'll find out. And then Banshee 15, he says, Cox PT-19 trainer, that was my friends who let me try to fly it. Well, that's a pretty cool friend you had, Banshee 15.
Yeah.
And Mike Rigel says, "I'm sorry to hear about your dad's fall. It reminds me of a shirt I saw. If you're tired of getting dizzy, learn to fly stunt."
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good. Then Mike Rigel goes on to say, "Yes, I found out the hard way that glow fuel dissolves rubber bands and background lines too."
Yeah.
And then Banshee 15 goes on to say, "I remember that situation. Run! Yeah, run, Forrest, run!"
Which direction, though?
And Jeff Riley, he says the fuel also eats up the styrofoam wing on the old Cox Chipmunk. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that didn't that fly rather well though?
Did. That and their Stuka flew well too.
I
Hey,
don't know.
Dennis.
I remember flying my Cox Stuka, and I got the motor running good. Went out and it launched, and I took off. And for some reason, I was flying flat, but for some reason, the inboard wing dipped, and it came in on me, and that's how I crashed and broke the wing.
Wow.
But I was just, like 12 years old at the time, and really didn't know anything.
Well, at the 95 Nats, they had me judging half a stunt. And at the end, I flew Larry Ringer's Cox Stuka stunt. And I did the whole pattern with that thing.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Yeah.
It's on 43-foot lines, I believe.
Yeah.
Not with the Stuka, you didn't. You
Well,
probably had the foam ME 109.
Oh, that's it. The ME 109.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say the Stuka would be challenged to do almost anything. Although there is a really cool video on Stunt Hangar. Dan McEntee,
Yeah,
St.
I know
Louis,
Dan.
flying a Cox Stuka fairly recently. Had the thing really ripping, flying at about 3 feet off the ground. The thing looked just vicious. Motor off, and he made a perfect landing with it and everything like that. And I said, well, yeah, that's kind of an ode to all. I used to work at a hobby shop, and so many people absolutely loved that Stuka. It was the most vicious, exciting looking model in the whole Cox lineup, and they all got destroyed, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. You don't
darn near all of them.
I
Carl,
think
you have more luck than I've ever heard of, frankly.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I like the Stuka because it came with a drop bomb.
Yeah.
You could add a third string, and if you ever got in the air, you pull the string and drop a little plastic bomb.
Yeah.
I think that was a selling point.
Well, it had the little spinners, the little generators,
not the one I had. Not the one I had in the
landing gear.
No, not the one I had in the 60s, I don't believe. It was in the late 60s, around 65, 67, somewhere in there. I don't remember the spinners on the wing. That might have came after, an upgrade from the original one. That's what I think, anyway.
Danny, I downloaded a very interesting set of plans and a article. Some guy named D. Adamesian, little sweet pea.
Oh boy!
Did that plane fly good?
Yeah, which one was it?
Sweet pea.
Sweet. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it flew very well. I got second place at the 71 Nats in senior.
Wasn't that a V-tail?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a cute
thing.
thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was on one of the download sites, and so I snagged it up, put it in my library.
Mm-hmm. Good. My God, between you and Phil, I'm going to have to be riding you now about building these airplanes. It's a funny thing. I've only had a few airplanes published, and stuff like that. So I can't say that, lots and lots. But I've never seen any one of my airplanes show up at the field. I always thought that would be the coolest thing.
Yeah. Well, I always liked your orange crate.
Well, the
first
Orange
one of your
Parade
designs.
was a neat airplane. I definitely have intentions to try to recreate that one at some point. So,
What was the span on that?
62 inches.
High aspect ratio all the way.
It was. Well, the reason
Yeah.
it was 62 is I was driving a Ford Fairmont at the time, and 63 inches wouldn't fit.
Oh,
I wanted the long skinny wing, and then it occurred to me, my God, I got to put this in the car, and I had to shave the wing tips down so it would fit in the trunk.
oh wow.
So,
Well, here's a funny family story. Well, me and my brother, I think I was around 10. My brother was around 8, and my dad had a ringmaster because he got into it a little bit, but it was broke, and the tail section was broke. So we talked. So me and my brother were all excited about him fixing it and getting it up in the air. And he had to glue, part of the tail section back on, and it was the old ambroid glue back in those days, where it took a day or so for it to cure. So my brother and I said, hey, and I think it was raining that day. So we had the fork furnace going. We go, hey Dad, put it on the fork furnace so I'll make the glue dry faster. Well, so he did, and within a few minutes, the thing caught fire.
Oh no!
I mean, it didn't burn the whole thing, but it just flamed up. And me and my brother, being kids, thought that was the funniest thing that ever happened. But the plane was sizable, and we got it in the air. So that was just something that happened with a family, with my brother, and my dad. So.
Well, I come back in the day when ambroid was tops. They didn't have on the market. They didn't have epoxies, and actually, first epoxy I ran across, I had a Sterling old Flying Fool, and the top wing kept blowing off on it. Boy, it had turned into a nose-heavy rat racer without that top wing. And so though I got some of that epoxy, everybody said it was good, so I glued that wing on with it. And that wing never, I bet you in some junk pile somewhere in the country, that top wing is still glued to that airplane.
I don't know. I think if you do a search on Stunt Hangar, wherever you see a story about a flying fool, almost every single one of them is a story about losing the top wing.
Yep.
Wow.
It's the most amazing thing how many people built those things, and they all blew the top wing off. So.
Oh yeah, it was a neat looking airplane. Actually, it would somewhat fly a pattern, not real good, but it would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. It was kind of like a nice break from the Nobler I was flying. And but that top wing, until I got that epoxy on there. Once I did that, then it was no problem. Katie barred the door.
I want a biplane. I got a 38 special here. I gotta just
You'll
finish
love
building
it.
the darn thing. So.
You'll love it. It's a great plane.
I've seen a couple of them fly, and they look terrific. So
yeah, you're gonna make it electric,
John. You must be new here. So.
I'm new here today.
Yeah. Let the new guy in, huh? So.
Well, I've got a 38 special here too, so I want to follow along when you do your electric.
All right, hang on just a second. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, let me catch up on the chat. Okay. So then Philip Bailey says Jeff is coming, but always seemed to rain on the days I tried to paint. Yep. And then here comes Dennis.
Oh my goodness, look at there.
All right.
It's already started on it.
Wow.
That's it. Well, the conversion, I had the kit. I built a conversion kit for it. You can buy the conversion kit.
Good.
And I did a couple other variations on it and everything like that to make different profile mounts. I thought the basic layout was good. Yeah, there's room for the battery, firewall mount, yada yada. So I just got to build all the hard parts now. So now in the new EAA magazine, there's a article there on home built biplanes. I just I don't know. I got to build a biplane. It's all there is to it. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, two's better than one. Once you get them trimmed right.
My dad had a kind of on a no particular thing. He had a kit for a Johnny Casburn SE5. All right.
Yeah.
And built it just kind of a side lot, and we took the thing out and kept flying it. We kept doing more and more maneuvers. Eventually, we did the entire stunt pattern with it, and it flew it well. It was a darn good flying airplane.
Yep.
And so my brother was able to find a kit on eBay, and don't have intention to actually build it, but we're definitely going to copy it. But that's on the list too. Those fly like crazy too. Hey Phil, you got that Eclipse framed up yet?
No, not yet. I got a few to finish before I start anything.
Well, what the heck you doing, man? You've had the plans since weekend, yesterday?
Yeah, since Saturday. I tell you what, that thing's got one more stab on it. Well, that thing's as big as a half A wing. I'm telling you. That's nice looking plane though. I wanted the Sweet Pea. That's the one I'm after, but I found the Eclipse, and I said, "What the heck? I'll get this one, and we'll try that one later."
Yeah, the stab on that. If you take a look at Ted Fancher's airplanes about the same time, I was seriously channeling Ted. All right, you look at the stab on that, compare it to the imitation and the excitation. You'd see almost the same stuff. Now, having said all that, and I built it just like that plan. The airplane's overhanging in the corner. It's on the restoration pile. Frankly, Scarlett, I think I'd make it a half-inch thick now and let it go with that. If I was building a brand new one, I don't know that I'd bother making it an inch, that inch thick again. So.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's a pretty airplane though, Dennis. Whew.
Thanks. Yeah, it had a unique look, a different look. So I always thought it was kind of a sellout airplane after the Orange Crate because it looked so normal. But
well, you can't find plans to the Orange Crate though. That's the one I was
got somewhere
to tell you about. Well, I'd love to have plans to that and the Sweet Pea if you can find them and send them to me.
I just downloaded plans for the Sweet Pea, Phil.
Where did
you go to on one of the plan downloading sites? I can't think of which one it was. It's the one in there. It is.
Is that you, Peter?
That's it. There it is.
Man.
Yeah, quick draw McGraw. Peter.
That's where I downloaded from. Free download. Got the plan and the article go with it. And look at that young man there.
That young man.
I was a chick magnet even then, wasn't I? So.
Yeah. Oh, you mean you? I thought you meant the plane. Okay.
How'd they get your plane and your grandson? They're
That's about
that is just free download.
That is a cool looking plane. That's the Sweet Pea, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Tom,
wow, that is a nice looking plane.
Published in American Aircraft Modeler. I recall it was published in one of the magazines.
Yeah, American Aircraft Modeler in, I want to say July of '72, something like that.
Wow. Now, what are those cheeks on both sides?
Yes.
Wow, that is neat. Now, what did you have in there?
What do you got? Gumby on top of that thing? What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
And what is what
Can't
again?
tell.
It's his foot.
It's his foot.
Yeah.
That's my foot.
Oh, it's your foot. You're like a little person. I'm like.
And my foot is behind the airplane, Steve. It's not on top of it.
Oh, okay.
The interesting thing about that plane, if you look at the plans, I didn't see a spar. That thing, I said, where the heck are the
Nope.
spars in this thing?
I'd have to go further down.
You go down further, you can get to the download portion. There it is.
Tom Dixon flew one of those things.
No,
years
it's not
back,
saying.
a green one. And
I
it
don't know.
flew
Oh, I have to
very
log
well.
in. Hold on.
That thing flew very well.
Hold
What
on.
motor did you have?
So what motor did you have?
Oh, no, where did it go?
What engine did you have in that, Dennis?
That was an OS 35, of course. I built everything with OS 35s. So
okay.
Was it the S model or the earlier one?
0 results.
yes, sir. 35S.
Okay.
Yeah, but you guys
That's a
got to
good
remember.
engine.
You guys
That's a good
remember.
engine for a classic airplane.
Yeah, but you guys got to remember when his dad got through with it, it really purred.
Let's see.
It's not letting me go in there.
With OS 35.
It's not letting me. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway.
Anyway, there it is. Let me see if I can get it out. Maybe share it. I've got it. I've got the plans here somewhere.
That one in the orange crate are two of my favorites. But when I saw the Eclipse, I had to have it. And I picked up a set of plans. I told y'all I loaned out my plans to the. There you go. Boy,
Wow.
that's pretty.
Oh, that's a better picture. Yeah, there you go.
That is nice.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, when that was published, I was fascinated with it. I wanted to build one.
I can see why.
Yeah.
You were 19 there, Dennis?
Actually, let's see. I'm trying to think back that far, Steve.
Maybe was you 12? Like the number?
That was like 1970, so I was 16 years old then. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Hey, Dennis, where were you living then? What part of Detroit was that you guys?
Taylor.
You were in Taylor, okay. Where exactly?
Just off of Ecorse Road, between Wick. I'm sorry, off of. All right, Ecorse and Wick were parallel. All right, what the hell was the name of that street?
Well, there's Telegraph, Van Born,
it
Dartmouth.
was it was parallel. One road off of Telegraph.
Outer Drive.
No.
Pelham.
Wait a
Inkster.
minute. Now it's going to drive me crazy until I think of what it was.
Okay. All right, but yeah, you're in that part of town. The backyard looked very indicative of suburban Detroit in that picture.
Yeah. The road
like
the went all the way into Detroit.
Yeah, the coolest summer of ever. I think it was about 1962. We had Charlie Maxwell of the Detroit Tigers renting the house across from our backyard. He used to play catch over the back fence with my older brothers.
Oh, wow.
That was the cool. And they were over there the one day. They had he hosted a Detroit Tigers team party. My brother managed to sneak his way into it, and he got an autographed baseball from all the Tigers who were at the party. So,
oh my goodness!
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's when baseball players made salaries that let them live in just middle class suburbia. So,
yep,
that is cool.
Yeah,
hey, Bill and Steve, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And let me catch up on the chat box. Alexander III says, "Hi, Big John. Thanks for your help in getting the plans. Now, which one to build? Greetings from Scotland." And then Jeff Riley says, "John must be thinking of the ME 109. It was black and blue chipmunk." And then Mike Regal says, "The Cox chipmunk flew very well. I used to have one. Whenever I happened to crash it, I would glue the wing back together with 5-minute epoxy and keep flying." And Banshee 15 says, "Cox Stuka, ugly. I love it." And Jeff Riley says, Phil, do you have an auto body shop supply near you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
And then
I
Mike
do.
Miguel says, I saw plans for a pits at Outer Zone.
Oh, what?
A pits. Plans for a pits.
Oh. Yeah,
Pits.
okay.
Okay.
And Mike, go ahead, Mike. Mike wants to speak.
Well, I just like Phil to give us a little contest report from the North Carolina contest last Saturday
Lord.
that he went to. I've seen a few pictures about it. It looked like they had a pretty good turnout, and I'd like Phil to share a little bit on it.
Well, I wish that I had taken pictures of the scorecards. I can't really tell you who won the other events. Won all the events. I know in profile, Tom Looper won with a trainer. A little stunt trainer. But,
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Tommy he's so precise when he sets his mind to it. That little plane just went. But the secret to the whole thing is just what they drill into our heads, bottoms, and hold them steady. You know, just get the shapes right in the bottoms. Everybody was flying loops that were going, their loops were going up to 70, 80 degrees. And Tommy's were 45 degrees and 4-foot bottoms, and they were just about as perfect as I've seen. I didn't believe that little plane. I've watched Tommy fly that plane since first flight with it. Those were the two best flights he's flown with that airplane. Somehow when you put judges in front of Loop, he goes into another gear or something. I don't know what it is. But he flew that, and then Phil Spillman, I flew very well in old time, but I think Larry Drawn won old time with Buddy Barbie second. Then Tommy was having trouble with his knee, and he said he didn't want to try to fly my airplane in old time. So I was going to let him fly the little stunt wagon I showed y'all Friday, but he said he was barely going to make it for the one event he flew. Then Classic was won by, let me see. I think William Davis won Classic and Warbird with his PT-19 that was Dave Hemstraught's airplane, electrified.
That was the conversion the one that he just restoration.
Yes, sir. And
yes,
he flew it well. It was beautiful. Yeah. It was really beautiful. The bottom of the wing shows that it's been patched in a couple places, but the rest of the airplane was flawless. And the dadgum thing just flew like Dave Hemstraught. I've known Dave for 40 years now. He's had a lot of airplanes. He flew that airplane better than any plane I ever saw him fly. And Will looks like Dave flying it. If you looked at the airplane, you think Dave's flying it. I think it's the best flying airplane. I think Will flies that airplane better than he does anything I've seen him fly. He's very smooth with it, very precise, and he earned those two trophies. It went well.
Yeah, I want to add. I talked to Will too, Phil. Yeah, he told me he won the Warbird, and did you say Classic as well? And then Will said he also and he got the Pilot's Choice Award for Dave Hemstraught's refurbished model. So Will did very well with that airplane at the North Carolina contest.
Yeah, Will's a good flyer, but that airplane was just stunning. It really looked good. And I'm not taking anything away from Will's flying. He was flying very, very well. But that airplane was just the class of the field. It was really nice. But
very good.
Man can fly.
How many pilots did you have out there? How many people showed up?
I think N30 had about. I think N30 was the best collection. I think it was about 8, and then old time was about 7, and I think we had 5 or 6 in profile and classic. Profile and what the heck? Well, anyway, one of the 2 classes I judged. I got so burned up out there Saturday, I didn't even know what I was doing. I drove home on autopilot.
Yeah,
my old truck knows the way home.
And also, everyone should know this was just a one-day contest, and they flew like 4 events on Saturday only. there was no Pampa events. There was no Sunday events. It was just
No.
one day, a 1 day deal. But glad you guys had good weather and everybody showed up and had a good time. It
Oh
looked like.
God, it was hot. We didn't have much wind. The
Yeah.
wind died. The wind completely died for a few minutes. Everybody kept saying, "Boy, I wish this wind had let up." But the wind was only about 5 miles an hour. I thought it was perfect. And the wind finally let up for about 20 minutes. We had no wind at all to speak of. The flag was just laying limp. And the bugs went crazy. I mean, they were all, the flying ants were all over us. Then the wind came back, the bugs were gone. Thank God. It was really nice. I think everybody had a good time. And Tom Wiedemann, the CD, said that they're going to do it again next year. Next year it will be 2 days, and we'll have AMA classes on Sunday. So
on Sunday, yeah, that one. It's just a little out of reach for us for a weekend content because that's another 3-4 hours past Huntersville, right, into North Carolina.
No,
it's on the shore.
You go to Greensboro, right?
I do.
Okay? Well, I live in Lexington. Greensboro is about 45 minutes for me, and it was 2.5 hours for me. So another hour and a half.
2.5 hours from there.
Yeah.
Hour and a half.
2.5
Okay.
hours.
Well, yeah, that's
It's
well,
doable.
but yeah, Greensboro's 7.5 hours for us. Huntersville's 6. So
You're talking about,
that would be it'd be 9 hours. It'd be 9 hours to that one.
Yeah.
But didn't they just announce something for Winston-Salem coming up in the fall?
If I did, I missed it.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Have you seen that yet?
No, we are hoping to have a contest in Winston, but they're going to have to get our circles finished. We still don't have the 2 circles. The grass circle is covered in piles of dirt. That has been rumored to be get this, AstroTurf.
Okay.
And the other 2 circles are supposed to get repaved, but supposed tos and do's are 2 different things. We'll wait and see. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, Peter wants to say something.
Yeah, taking one step back. Hold on a second. It's an interesting question there is the plan for the Sweet Pea. John was saying there's no spar in this
There is no spar in that plane.
That's right.
That's what floored me about it.
It's a fully sheeted wing.
Okay, that would explain
there you go. Okay,
yeah, and there was nothing shown to make it any way except fully sheeted. So, and would have been a little more, maybe a little easier for people to understand, I guess, if they'd have drawn it with spars and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
so you didn't use lucky boxes at the elevators. I see that you made up a specialized push rod that kind of like spanned the 2 control horns.
Yeah, 2 control horns and strip aileron horn linkage. Blow up that part. You can see a little.
I don't know if I can blow up that part, but it's like where my cursor is like circling right there. Rear push rod detail.
Well, I tell you, it's a cool airplane in the air.
All right.
That is a cool looking airplane in the air. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Have you seen Tom Dixon's?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I guess
I did.
I've seen pictures. I was flattered as heck when he built one. And the thing is, I know I had it in 1970. I can't remember if I started building it in 1969. So I can't look anybody in the eye and say this thing is classic legal. So although it's like right literally on the border.
Well, I mean, classic and N30 around here at least go together. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
Danny,
they're
in
flying
30 or Super
vectors.
70s or anything like that.
They're flying vectors, so this is definitely legal.
Mm-hmm.
If a vector's legal, this is definitely legal.
Oh yeah.
So at any rate, that's I would like to do. If I duplicated this one, I think I would try to make it a little more scale, like the original Goodyear Air Racer. Or Chester #2, and that would mean a little better wing plan form, And well, it would have to be overall yellow and green. Actually, it was either yellow or cream or white. I've seen records that showed all three with green trim, and real pretty airplane.
Other than you just update this, you put in adjustable lead out guides, obviously. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to do on this airplane, at least in my opinion.
Oh, well, that's exactly right. It's funny you mention that. Is that the lead outs? This is the last airplane I built with fixed lead outs, and I wish the heck it had had adjustables because they needed to be moved forward. I think about a quarter inch forward, and I think it would have made all the difference. But
well, one dumb question: if you were going to build that now and build it electric, would you lengthen the nose or would you leave it like it is?
I'd leave it just the way it is.
All righty.
Because I intend to have one of those. That's neat.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been making long battery boxes and putting the battery wherever I need it to get the balance. I use as much motor as I can get and still achieve the balance. But the motor is the number one thing for the balance, and the battery number two. So that's a pretty doggone long nose on it. So I don't think you'd have any trouble balancing it. It'd probably end up with the battery pretty far back. So
I just can't believe there's not on that plan. There's not a plan for a battery box there.
Come on, it's from the 1970s.
Yeah, but he was really forward thinking his whole life, but I don't see a battery box.
Steve has arrived, guys.
Yeah. Hey, John Miller was trying to show us the Starduster plans. John,
there he is.
What was going on with that?
I don't think he has enough bandwidth.
Yeah. Well, let me get here where do you see it moving?
No, you don't have enough bandwidth, John.
Okay, hang on.
The connection is lost, basically. It says lost connection.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do something.
Well, while you're trying to figure that out, while you're there, let me show you. This is June. Whoops, upside down.
Yeah, did you see my pitch? I'm in the June calendar. I sent
I
that.
see there. You're the guy in the yellow shirt, right?
I made the calendar.
Yes.
Thanks,
so,
Gary.
Gary, you with Gary?
Yeah.
All right. So this is Steve's daughter Samantha with her plane, and then this is what Derek Barry here presenting her an award.
That's when she won senior.
So for those of you who don't know, Gary Sinclair, he makes these calendars, and it's we can send him pictures of our planes, or us with our planes, or someone else's plane, and we have these calendars we have. So it's kind of a neat tradition we have, and I don't think I did it last on the first of the month. So I think this is the first time I had a chance to show us the new kind of centerfold for June. Is Steve down there? This is really a picture of Steve.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. There's so few pictures of me. He had to add Samantha in there to fill it up.
Exactly.
You had to have a reason for somebody to look at that picture.
Y'all are bad, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So anybody who's new, John,
can you guys see the airplane now?
John Shukalak, get a picture to Gary Sinclair, and you can be in next year's calendar.
All right.
I'm just
Carl,
going to
Carl, that goes for you too, Carl. You can also get a picture in there, Carl. Ooh, look at this. What are you showing us, Dennis?
This is the tail linkage.
Oh, that is cool.
That is cool.
Now, would that work on the? That's what you did, or is that different than what you did on the Sweet Pea?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up on me. Say again, please.
Is that the same linkage you use on the Sweet Pea, or this is an updated linkage?
That's the same thing. Same thing I use on all the V-tail airplanes. This one only has about 15 degrees V on each side, and the Sweet Pea had, I think, 25. Should have been 30 probably, but at any rate, works the same basic way. You make the wire 30, the control horn wire is just 3/32 music wire, and then those the horns lock in place. And yes, they are the same height, even though it doesn't look it. The horns lock in place with basically a wheel collar, but the horns are free to pivot, which means as
Nice.
the wires actually describe kind of a semicircular path. They don't stay perfectly parallel, pull up, pull down. So you need something like the horns aligning themselves to the push rod. All right. So that's how you make it work and live and last.
You know
that
what?
works
And it's
well.
neat.
That works really well.
That fuselage is all set up for electric. You could just run all the air that you bring in to cool the engine and stuff right out the tail.
I do. In fact, this has a removable tail cone on it, and I took that off so you can see it. But the tail cone has an exhaust path on it. So
Yeah,
What's the front of it looks like, Dennis?
Is it electric, Dennis?
Yeah.
That's a sharp looking.
Wow.
Is there any adjustments on your elevators?
You must be new here too.
Okay, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. This is the airplane I flew last year, actually. I rebuilt it with a V-stab, but it was built with a removable wing and a bolt-on tail, so putting a new tail on it wasn't too big a deal. All right. And I've shown you some pictures of this in the past and everything. I've had the difference I've made in just this last weekend. While our friends in North Carolina were actually flying in a contest, I was actually trying to figure out how to put stripes on this thing. So I had.
So is this what you're gonna fly for Tampa?
The only trim I had on it was a stripe on the fuselage to try to keep it as just simple, and the rest of the airplane was just plain stark raving white, no distractions or anything like that. But turns out it was just
that's beautiful.
No distraction. Was also no excitement. So now it's got
beautiful,
lots
Dennis.
of stripes on it, and hopefully that'll show up better. So
yeah,
personally,
it's always amazing.
I like it better, so I think
it's always paint jobs.
Looks really good.
You go out and you put all this paint on the plane, and then somebody else goes and puts a couple of stripes, and the couple of stripes turns out looking better. Simple is better most of the time. Oh, look at that.
Yep.
That's neat.
That looks good.
Hey, Dennis.
That's great, Dennis. That's really sharp.
Dennis.
He can't hear you until he hooks back up to his.
Okay. All right.
All right.
That is really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Who's got a duck?
I've always been fascinated by detailed stunters.
He's probably the one that did most of them that worked.
That's Dennis's computer making that noise, he says.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, someone's got a pet duck now.
The hamster gets tired in the wheel,
We have cats and ducks and.
Hey, I wanted to say something to Alexander III there, if he's still in there. Alexander, build the French version. That is far better looking, I think, than the Keelcraft.
I think
I'm
so
not sure if he's still here because it was 4:20 in the morning there, and I think he's saying sleep well.
Well, maybe he'll look at the video.
Maybe, yeah.
So did Mike show the vector off yet tonight or not?
Not yet.
He's working on.
Can you guys see Captain Nelly's? Yeah.
Let me see if I can fix that. Right now, I just had it focused on Dennis.
I understand. It's not a problem.
Yeah, try it again, John. I don't see anything. I see your initials, John. That's about it.
Wow, I see it here on my screen.
Yeah, your connection is still
Yeah, but we
considered
can't see it.
lost.
Yeah.
See, and I got a green signal thing, and
You got a gray one here, John.
blue.
Yeah, it's gray here, John.
Well, I guess I just can't show it. I was going to show the. Yeah, I was going to show it Captain Ellie's. But I think it's probably one of his top 2 airplanes he ever had. And that was the Starduster.
You want to just try?
I'll stop sharing.
You want to try going out and come back in?
I can do that.
Or maybe even reboot. Maybe reboot and come back in.
Yeah.
Or power cycle your router.
I can see it.
Later on, after in the after party, we'll discuss. We tried Zoom. We tried Zoom meetings out on Friday, and we maybe want to discuss that on.
You mean Wednesday?
Party.
You tried it Wednesday? You mean?
No, it was on Friday. There was like 4 of us. We tried Zoom meetings.
Okay,
and,
good.
In the after party, we may want to discuss that.
All right.
Did it work good?
Oh yeah, we're very well.
Really well.
Did you have Lynn on there?
Yeah. And
Lynn was there? Lynn Burnell?
Clear as could be. Worked really well with Lynn.
Wow, okay.
Hey, Dennis.
It worked with Lynn? Wow. Might be the way to go then.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
On that plan you were just showing, are you able to adjust your elevators if to get them equal to work the way you want to, or do you do that, or do you make that adjustment and then put everything together?
Well, I can adjust the throw on it by that set screw collar. You can take it and slide the horns up and down the wire real easily to adjust, any kind of ratio that you want on it.
Okay.
So that was, frankly, the first one I built like that was the Sweepy, the one that was in the magazine article, and that was about 1970.
All right.
And didn't really appreciate the idea of adjusting the horns until later on some of the later series airplanes. But I always just set it up just same as it would have been with a normal control horn. Typically about a 1-inch throw or something like that. But the real money, if you will, is to take advantage of that. You get it basically for free. You can adjust, slide those things up and down, and you can adjust the throws on it, which is a real powerful trimming aid.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hey, Dennis, you flying at it for Pampa at the Nats this year?
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
It's flying very well. I'm trying to psych myself up. I'm thinking it's a Saturday kind of airplane, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, cool. So, is that the one that you landed inverted and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. You gotta be careful with your
been an entertaining spring so far. Hey, while I'm showing off the airplane, let me show you one more.
Cool, go for it.
I got working on my backup airplane, so I'll be right back.
I've never had an airplane that could back up.
Hey, Charles, actually, I did. It was kind of good experience.
I couldn't hear any of you guys. That is one at a time.
Charles, actually, I had an airplane that could back up, and it was not a good experience.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Oh yeah.
That's what I take here in the studio. My wife is working.
Wow, that is pretty, Dan. I mean, Dennis.
Didn't you have that at Brodex?
I don't think you can hear you.
Anything. This is the Mythbuster. I actually built this thing 12 years ago. This is my first from the ground up electric airplane, and everything about it was intended to be electric.
Wow.
So it uses the same wing planform as the Eclipse, Phil. 63-inch, 11-inch by 7, the same taper, tapered trailing edge and everything like that. This one is an I-beam. The original Eclipse was foam, and then the last one was a D tube. But other than that, it's the same wing layout. It's a very thin wing, which is one of the things I wanted to try with electric. So it's actually thinner than the Eclipse is, and it still flies well. But
Did you have that at
is
Brodex?
that leading edge? I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Did you have that at Brodex, Denny?
Wow, that's different profile view than what you're used to seeing.
That's right. You can't hear us. They put his apparatus back on. That's right.
Did you have that at Brodex? Didn't I see it there?
I'm sorry, I can't. I got to plug myself back in.
Okay, go ahead. That is one pretty airplane.
That is pretty. Who would have thought pink was so nice?
Go for it, John.
Didn't you have that airplane at Brodex? I thought I saw it.
Yes,
there.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it at Brodex twice, and actually won the FCM contest with it.
Well, that's good.
Very good flying airplane. Very very linear. Very much on the rails. Everything like that. So.
Hey, we're gonna have to pitch in and get Dennis a wireless headphone set or something. That way he can show us stuff without disconnecting.
I think I need to do what I think. What I need to get is the cochlear implants or something like that. So,
Well, they make them wireless now that that you can use and Bluetooth hookup.
Yep. Yeah. So
there you go, John. You got the starter stuff.
There you go.
Very nice.
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, it was actually. It looks like it was quite easy to build, but it was a gorgeous airplane. I got the article. On there first is the article that showed the color and the shape. Full wing, sheet wing. I think it had the Hunt style of muffler, flap construction where it was cut out of the sheeted foam wing.
Yep.
If you look at the airflow, it surprised me. I'm quite familiar with the Pathfinder profiles airflow, and that's a sharper entry, and a little bit freck on the high point, but that's very similar to the Pathfinder airflow. It's just a little sharper. So anyway, that was one of what I thought. I believe was one of his caps. It does. But it's one of his best looking, one of probably top 2 or 3 best looking planes he ever designed and flew. Apparently it flew pretty well. And for your enjoyment, I came across another one called the Slimer.
Yeah.
The Slimer. And if you guys like to see it,
he's gone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like SIG is getting back into the at least it seems like SIG is getting back into creating their older kits and getting back into production. I would it's like some of the model airplanes like the SIG Magnum. I would just love to see that re-released, but I kind of doubt that it's going to happen, basically because of the foam wing construction.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to see it built with a D2 wing.
Yeah, I'm with Phil on that. I think if they re-engineered it for a built-up wing instead of the foamy, I think that's something that SIG would feel comfortable doing. Now they're into laser cutting and everything like that, and you could do a killer job with it. So,
and it'd be lighter. That'd be a great airplane.
Well, it'd be with a lot less balsa, and it'd be a lot cheaper to do too. Where balsa prices are going, and you're right on target. A fully sheeted wing is a real in a kit. Oh, that's a real crapshoot whether you're going to be able to use all that wood or throw it all out and start over. Buy an expensive kit and then have to throw out 16 sheets of balsa or whatever it takes to do
that's a
full
shame.
size foam wing.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds
Yeah,
awful
yeah.
familiar, but it's a shame.
And I mean, if you consider it, I'm like, if I remember correctly, SIG was just about the only major kit manufacturer that did actually release kits with a foam wing. You had the Mustang Stunter, at least I think there was only two of them. You had the Mustang Stunter and you had the SIG Magnum. And the one thing that drew me to the SIG Magnum was that it had the foam wing, and it was something that as far as construction was concerned.
But did it have that plastic top and bottom on it? Like
the Mustang Stunter did, which I did not really appreciate too much. Had the molded plastic top and bottom. The Magnum did not. And even though the Mustang Stunter actually was a good flying airplane, but it turned out to be kind of like it was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But the SIG Magnum was about as close as a major kit manufacturer ever got, and I've got one up in the closet over here, which I am going to build. That was somewhat near a workable real stunt airplane with a foam wing. And like I said, the thing that drew me to it was the ease of construction.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I guess maybe it's not economically feasible to go in and make manufactured foam wing type stunters for a major manufacturer. But at least as far as the SIG Magnum was concerned, that's what drew me to it. It had a foam stab, just like what John was showing there. The foam stab with the sheeted stab, and foam wing with the sheeted foam wing.
Well, they could probably get somebody to cut the foam wing for them.
Yeah, true, but at what cost? I mean, that SIG Magnum cost me what when it was made? It was like all of like $104. These days, if you want somebody to cut you a foam wing, you're talking about a kit. Randy has foam wing kits for his foam wing versions for his kits. $300 to $400.
Whatchamajigger there that brings in the stalkers. His foam wing kits aren't that expensive.
Mm.
Tom Dixon, 200.
Tom Dixon, yeah.
Piece.
I mean, his
Tom's kits also come already sheeted.
Yeah, but hell.
Yeah, I was not aware.
So I forget what he gets for a kit, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, see, it looks like Mike has left us, but that Vector him and Sam are building was one of Tom Dixon's kits, and he was very positive on it. Last week or the week before when he was showing it off, he was very positive on that kit. So, but I don't know. If you take a Magnum and make it and make a balsa wing for it and everything like that, and squint your eyes a little bit, take a look at a Legacy. The Brodak Legacy is almost the same. And I'm not sure. I don't know the RSM kit line real well, but I think they've got. Airplanes like that too. That would be virtually the same as a Magnum. It seems to me one of the Blue Max Cosmonaut Blue Max airplanes was just about the same size as the Magnum and whatever. So.
Magnum is a big airplane.
No question about it. You want to build a Magnum? Yeah, that's what I wonder if Mike Pratt has ever been approached about that. He's doing some kits on his own now. Whoa, looky there.
The Slimer.
Where'd it go?
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Where'd it go?
Make him full screen. Where'd it go, John?
I'm trying to figure out where it went.
It's such a Slimer.
Is that it? You got it?
No.
No,
just got you.
I'm going to play with this. I'm going to close it and I'll bring it back up. Hold on a minute.
All right.
Dennis, while he's doing that, tell me something. What motor would you put in the 38 Special and in the Clips?
Well, again, I used S35 in the Eclipse. Obviously, there's better choices now.
No,
I think
I mean
an
electric.
Aero
I
Tiger
mean
or something like
electric.
that would be a killer in it.
No, electric.
Oh, electric. I would use probably something like a 2820 and a 4-cell 2700 pack.
Okay.
I flew the original with a 10-inch prop. I would see no reason to change that.
Yeah.
I'd use a 10 APC 10 5.8 pusher because that's what I fly everything that size with. So the 38 Special, I understand, is a power hog. So
Oh yeah, it is.
I'm thinking it's going to need. I get some people saying they put LA 46s with 12-inch props on them. So.
Oh yeah.
So I guess I worry about having enough motor to turn a 12.6 APC, I guess.
Okay.
So, but I don't know that something like a 10 or 11-inch prop, maybe a little more pitch, going a little faster. I don't know.
Well, what I found on mine, it seems to work the best on mine is more diameter, less pitch. I mean, yeah, more diameter, less pitch.
Okay.
So you don't go so darn fast, and it just does like a tune pipe run. It just runs the same speed everywhere. But other people have had other ways. I mean, had other experience with it. But my SE5, which is nothing but a 38 Special, flies one speed. If it slows down, you're in trouble. If it speeds up, something's bad wrong.
Yeah, I was given a.
Let me let Tom go in. Go ahead, Tom.
Charles, I was just going to tell you I sent you a private message with a link of what we talked about early in the show with the hinges.
All right, thank you.
I told you the wrong video at the beginning, but I sent you the link to the correct one.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to try to show something just with my camera.
I think I interrupted Carl. Didn't I interrupt Carl?
Yeah, I was just going to say I was given a 38 Special, and it has a OS Max 25 on it. But the gentleman that gave it to me set it up with for a bladder because he had a hard time getting to run on the tank. So he said it flew well. So we'll find out here shortly, though.
John, you had it, and I lost it again.
Yeah. It kind of looks like a Banshee.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Remind me of a Banshee.
Well, a tapered.
Yeah, we did for a minute, John, and that was it.
No, this is
You
ridiculous.
reminded me of John.
Oh, I see. Wait, hold on a minute.
There you go.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a Spanish design, and it's a recent design. It's not, it's probably in the last 5 or 6 years. It's named aptly the Slimer because it's for a 15 diesel. And it looks to me more like, like a cap or something like that without as high a canopy. Tail is pretty vertical. It doesn't have that long nose of the Sig. What is it? The
Banshee.
Big Banshee.
It's more like it's more like a twister that's got some different shape to the tail than that. The wing is totally different. It's tapered leading edge. The trailing edge right across here is straight, and then the flaps are tapered. It's got the reversed style wingtips on it, which are a little better aero efficient. And whoever drew it put some time in it. He's got little tabs on here that break off later, so you can build it on a flat table. And it's just got a lot of nice little features to it. So I thought you guys might enjoy seeing it. It's got with the plans, it comes with a full-size pattern sheet, so it's easy to build. So that's the Slimer, guys. Hope you don't run into one.
Yeah.
At the
how big an airplane is that, John? What kind of span?
15 size. Let me see if I can. I'm going to blow it up here so I can read it's in Spanish, so I have a bit of trouble.
Yeah, 15 diesel is more like a 30 size, 35 size airplane.
Yeah, I've got to go to this other drawing. I'm trying to make it bigger on. Okay, we'll try here. Okay, well, it's in 998 millimeters span, and length is 690 millimeters, and envergadura. I'm not sure what that means. Envergadura. That's both. He's got it in two places. 998 millimeters, 2.5 cc diesel. Yeah, it's.
But a 1,000 millimeters is a meter, right?
Yeah, 1,000 would be 39 inches. So 958 is probably about a 36-inch airplane.
Something like that. Yeah, it's not tiny, not like a lot of 15s, but it's not huge. But I looked at it, thought it'd be a ball. I've got just happen to have a 15 diesel that I picked up a little while ago, and I thought that'd be fun to play with. Let me do this.
That's cute.
Whoops, went too far. Need to go up one. Come on.
.9-inch wingspan.
So we call it 39 inches. Fudge on it a little bit. You go down here and it has a place you can build a plan section you can build your wing over, which is kind of nice. Not normally done separate like that. So anyway, the guy that did it, I think he did a nice job. I suspect that he did it all by hand with the graining that's done on the balsa.
He wasn't a married man then, huh?
The landing gear is pretty interesting. Is that just all one piece of wood, or you think there's two of them?
There's one piece of wood that goes clear across the wing from landing gear to landing gear. Let me bring it over here.
Well, that probably would make it pretty strong, right?
It gives it a little more strength through the fuselage, yeah. It also has the plywood back here, back in this area, that is where the bell crank sits on it there, I believe.
Yeah.
That's also going through the fuselage from the landing gear to the landing gear. It's got a lot of spars in it, so he apparently wanted to make sure that it would handle some heavy turns.
Now,
That's almost dead.
Are diesels vibrators?
No, not so much so. They're pretty well balanced. The thing is they are slimers. And you can smell them as they fly because the kerosene has a distinct smell of burning. So they call them stinky planes and other names and slimers. But if you work it right, you could set it up. Most diesels where you can set it up with you don't have to have aluminum. You can use the kind of tubing that looks like old hard fuel line tubing, but bigger diameter.
Hey, Gary,
you can use that and direct the
airflow
or the exhaust away from the airplane.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got an early Father's Day present because once Samantha buys something, she can't keep it till the day. So I don't know if you guys can read that.
Let me see here. What does it say? Oh, from the little bit of money my daughter hasn't taken yet. Oh, man, I can relate to that. I have two girls. Ugh.
Yeah, that was the Father's Day present. I'm like, how true.
I like
Guys,
that.
I'm going to tell you what.
Yeah.
Wait till you have granddaughters that are hit 6. Well, she's 22 now, but anyway.
That's even worse.
Oh God. Oh yes.
Let me interrupt. Peter wants to say something. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Peter.
it's just to touch back on my my I don't want to say it's my love of the Sig Magnum, but let's go back on memory lane, and there we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Is that your kid holding it for you?
Very
That
funny.
was me at there's a model airplane field in Chicago. I can't remember the name of the park, but you can see a couple of model airplanes on the ground behind me. But
Yeah.
that was the first Sig Magnum that I built. So I am definitely going to recreate that one.
That looks really good.
The Sig Magnum was a pretty good flying plane in its day. I don't know how it would go up against the pipe planes today.
I'm not saying that it should go against piped airplanes or anything like that, but I have a certain affection for that particular model.
Well, yeah, it's a nice flying. Mike Pratt did a good job at designing that.
And that was a completely monocoated airplane. There was no paint on that at all. It was pearl blue with a navy blue with a sky blue and white. All super monocoat, no trim on that at all.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's a good looking plane.
So I have a certain affection for that airplane.
Yeah, they were really cool with the Thunder. No, Thunder.
And that was when I was quite a bit younger, 20 years or so. Oh Jesus, Christmas! It was that long ago. 20 years. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm going to get ready to help us transition to the after party. It's just about midnight where most people are at. It's only 9 o'clock here. But we've had as many as, let's see here, 22, looks like 22 viewers. And we have 19 likes and 0 chat revenue and 0 new members. So if you're watching this as a replay and you'd like to donate, please tune in to our next show, which would be Friday, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you could donate at the super chat, which is only available during a live stream. And go out and have some fun and come back and tell us all about it. And we're going to continue on. So this is not over. We just are going to stop the live stream. And we're going to go into what we call our after party. So until then, as Sparky would say, he would usually say tight lines and fair winds. And see ya. And good night.